And we're live. What's up, everybody? I got the Jailbirds here with me today. What's up, fellas?
Hey,
How's it going?
what's going on, everybody?
Not too bad. I just wrapped up an interview with Boss Man a few seconds ago. So
Yeah.
my nerves are shot. My self-esteem's real low. No, I'm just kidding. That's Mark's a great guy. And I was, he's a very busy man. So I was super thankful that he could come on and give me a little bit of his time today. As you guys as well.
Yeah, our pleasure.
Yes, you guys are having, you said you're rehearsing today. You guys working on some new tunes, or you hammering out the material that's been recorded?
A little bit of everything. We're always like kind of working on what's next, and yeah, it's a little bit of new stuff. Like we're always writing and stuff like that. And obviously during COVID, we've had a lot more time to write. So yeah, that's a main focus for us because we can't play a lot of shows. So yeah, lots of new stuff coming this way.
Are there any live shows happening up in your neck of the woods? Where are you guys exactly?
Right now we're around Georgetown in like Ontario,
Okay.
which is kind of near Toronto, I guess, if you're tuning in from somewhere else. Yeah, that's where we jam, and
Yeah, we're currently sitting in the jam space.
yeah,
So it's
we're in it.
Nice. Real quick, for everybody that's watching that may not know you guys personally, if you don't care, say your name and say what you do in the band real quick.
all right. I guess we'll start from this side. Going now, I'm this guy over here. I'm Liam. I play bass. Eric.
Oh, shoot. I'm Eric. I'm behind the kit. I'm playing drums.
I'm
Nice.
John. I'm here to play the guitar.
And I'm Mike. I play guitar and sing.
Nice. Very nice to meet you guys. I know we've never talked before, so this will be a good learning experience for both of us, getting to learn some cool stuff about each other. So first of all, you guys have almost 150,000 combined Spotify streams on the first two singles out on Golden Robot, Dull My Brain and Watery Grave combined. So got to give y'all congratulations on that. Be lying if I said I wasn't super jealous of those Spotify numbers. So congratulations. I know how hard it is to pump this up sometimes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks a lot, man.
So
Yeah,
appreciate it.
absolutely.
Yeah, they were. It was definitely a lot more than we anticipated, which is amazing. So the response has been incredible.
Yeah, very, very grateful for it.
Yeah, Golden Robot kills it on their PR game, man. That's I sound like a broken record saying that, but man, their PR work is just absolutely fantastic for everybody on the label.
Mm-hmm.
And I promise Mark's not paying me to say all this shit right now.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Well, cool. After I listened to Dull My Brain for the first time the other day, the first thing that I really recognized with the vocals that they seem to have a strong Miles Kennedy influence on them. And then after I go and read your guys' bio on your page, you guys listed as your three main influence, Alter Bridge and Mr. Big were on there. So your guys' influences with bands like that, do you find that as a good calming ground for catalyst with your songwriting to bond over with that?
At certain points, yeah, I'd say so. Like we obviously kind of listen to different genres at different times, so we kind of write different kind of music depending on what we're listening to at the time.
Yeah, but a lot of fans after shows and gigs and everything, they sometimes look up at us and be like, "Man, you guys sound exactly like this band," or like the vocals on this song sounded exactly like this guy. And I fucking love it. Thank you. And they're like, "Oh yeah, no problem, man. We absolutely." And yeah, Mike gets that a lot.
Miles is he's like the reason why I sing. So
Nice. Very nice. And he's a fantastic singer as well, and Slash has been lucky to get two awesome singers in his band with Todd and Miles, and hearing those guys harmonize with each other is fucking fantastic.
Exactly.
Oh,
yeah, I've seen them live quite a few times, and it's just every time it's killer. It's really cool.
Nice. The only time I got to see the Conspirators was in 2014. I saw them open up for Aerosmith in Atlanta, and it was a little unfortunate. So that was like one of my first times going to Atlanta, and I'm not sure if you guys have been there before, but some of the worst traffic in the world is Atlanta.
Oh, really?
And so I was like fresh 18, fresh out of high school, going down there with a couple of my buddies. And, you know, we get to the hotel and we're like, we don't have to leave that early. It's like we're pretty close to the venue. So the show starts at like 6. We'll leave the hotel at like 5:30 and get over there, something like that. And then, of course, we just hit dead on traffic. And as they're scanning my tickets, when we finally get there, I can hear them playing Sweet Child of Mine inside. And ended up, I think, the only full song that I got to watch from the Conspirators that night was Paradise City. But then, of course, Aerosmith came out and just fucking blew the roof off the place. So it made up for kind of missing out on that. But, yeah, totally fantastic band. And I could hear the influence on that very much whenever I listened to that song for the first time.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
So kind of brief everybody that's listening on the history of the band. When did you guys form?
We formed the Jailbirds in early 2016. Liam and I have actually been playing in a band together since like 2011 or so, and it kind of was like a high school band or whatever, and it kind of just naturally just kind of turned into this band. People left and we changed the name a few times and the genre just naturally changed. And so, but that, yeah, this band, like we met Eric in 2016 and we were a 3-piece for a long time. And we just recently started working with John here. And we technically actually haven't officially announced John, but we have played a show with him and have been doing some other stuff. So, but yeah, that's kind of how we got started. We just jammed a lot and we just like to play. So we just do it.
Yeah, that's a surprise to me as well, because when I was looking over your guys' stuff, I just saw the 3 of you guys in the picture. And you know, I was going to ask you guys if you ever thought about expanding the lineup. So that kind of answers my question right there. Dude, this is easy. You guys are doing half the work for me. This is a great
answer. Came prepared.
Yeah. So kind of expand on that idea a little bit. What was the decision to bring in a 4th member?
Well, we were recording the EP that we are currently like in the process of releasing, and we just kind of, on the first EP, The Black River, we really sort of recorded it as the sound of a 3-piece, if you will. And so, but this time around, we kind of just let the reins go, and we were like, if it's going to have 6 guitar parts, it's going to have 6 guitar parts. And that's what happened. And so we have a lot of stuff that we need to cover, and I can only play so much and sing so much at the same time. So I'm like, I would like to be able to do these songs justice live and just, have another voice as well, because there's a lot of vocal harmonies as well. And so that was kind of it. We just want to expand the sound and grow it. And we even eventually maybe want to expand it even more. And it's just like, it's always going to grow. And so, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm a sucker for 3-pieces, so that was a big thing that jumped out to me when I first started diving into your guys' catalog. So whose decision was it to, reach out to Golden Robot and talk to me about building that relationship with Mark and all those guys?
On our end?
Yeah.
They actually had reached out to us initially.
Okay, very nice.
And we just kind of started talking, and we, here we are. We signed a deal with them, and yeah, it's been great so far. It was kind of just, at the time, we were just kind of like, this is too good to be true. And honestly, like we got an email from Mark. I think it was Mark who actually emailed us directly.
Nice.
And I kind of ignored it because I was like, yeah, okay, sure. And
This has got to be spam. There's no way.
yeah, I was like, fuck, like this is bullshit, sure. And then he kept contacting us, right? And so then eventually he's like, okay. And then I really looked into it, and then I saw like bands like the Lazies were signed to the label at one point there, and we knew them. They're living in Toronto currently, so like we had known them and met them before, so that was kind of like, oh, okay, like it kind of made it more real for us. And then when we really looked into it, then we're like, yeah, this is actually legit. But it was like, honestly, at the time we were like, where did this come from? Like, it was pretty wild.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you guys actually, Mark had mentioned that they re-released a previous EP that you guys had done through the label. talk to me about some of the differences you saw releasing that on your own and then having Golden Robot re-release that for you guys.
We just now, especially with the new releases of the new music, it really just took our audience to it just broadened our audience a lot. Like it really, especially in Europe and in the US, largely so. Like before on we released the Black River. That's the EP that they re-released with us. And when we put it out ourselves, we had like a local fan base and stuff for sure. But like we had streams in Toronto and Hamilton and things like that, cities around Ontario. But then once we started working with Golden Robot, it took it to Germany and all these other places. And that's mainly why we signed with them too, is to do that kind of thing. That was the appeal for sure.
Nice. And like I said before, their PR work is just absolutely fantastic. And going on Spotify and looking at the actual detailed stats and seeing that they're not just, they don't have a large fan base in just one city. It is very well spread out to where you are seeing streams in literally almost every country in the world. So, it's good to build that diverse fan base for sure.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, cool. So this new EP is a concept EP. Do you guys want to kind of go into detail about that a little bit for everybody?
Yeah.
Kind of just came out of nowhere.
It did. It really did. It was not planned as a concept, and it was one of those things that just happened. I think it was Liam's idea. Really, it was like we were trying to pick. I think it was in January of this year. We were picking the tracks to go on the EP, and we were picking the order of the songs rather. And Liam pointed out at one point, like, oh, if we put the songs in this specific order, the lyrics kind of like they go together. And I'm like, what the fuck? How did I not notice that? I wrote them, so like, why wouldn't I notice it, right? It's kind of funny. And he just was like, and I was like, fuck. And so we rewrote it a little bit to kind of make it even more tied together. And then it just kind of happened, and it worked so well that we were all just like, this is great. It's a cool idea. And the thing is, it doesn't really like, you don't have to listen to it as a concept. Like you don't have to listen to it front to back, but
Sort of bridges the gap.
You can listen to everything on its own,
yeah.
Right? That's kind of what we wanted to do, is make it so that the songs stand alone, but also like for people that want a different listening experience, like for all of us, like we're fans of listening to full albums and stuff like that. So it's kind of like paying, kind of like doing the old school thing in a sort of way, but also a modern way as well, because we need to be able to release singles because it's 2020.
Yeah.
It's not 1968 anymore, so we got to like think about it in that way.
Pumping out 3 full albums a year,
Yeah,
we can't release 3 albums a month.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work like that anymore, right? As much as we want to, we have so much music that we could just put out, but we can't. You know what I mean? You just can't do it like that.
Yeah.
Nice. So did that play a big part into, deciding to do it as an EP instead of a full album, like 10 to 12 songs?
Oh, yeah. I'd say so. I mean, we got a lot of songs, and we were kind of like of the mentality, like, we don't want to blow our load all at once, if you know what I'm saying. Like, we got a lot of tracks, all really good. We're like, we don't really want to put all these really, really good songs on one album, and then we have one album with really, really good songs, and then we have to write like 15 other really, really, really good songs. We're like, well, we'll spread it out a bit, and the like Mike said, the 4 tracks, the 5 tracks really work really well together. So we're like, we'll just keep it like that, and it kind of just ended up being an EP. We were originally contemplating maybe doing a full length, but we kind of decided against it.
Yeah. Because we didn't want these other songs to get forgotten,
Nice. And, that's an interesting concept because, you see some bands kind of fall off that way because you have your whole life to prepare for that first album. And, sometimes if that first album is really successful, you can have a lot of pressure be put on you for that second album. And, that, like you said, if you kind of blow your load early, getting all those good songs on that first album, then it can be kind of, you can put in a weird place mentally when you're trying to write for that second album with the pressure that comes with a really successful debut release. So I know that that's a good thing with Golden Robot right now is, the single game. And because a lot of us don't know when we'll be able to go back to playing live shows. So you don't want to just put an entire album out like right now. And then for the next year, you're like, all right, well now what do we do for that? So that's a very interesting concept. And I know that that's probably a big thing that Golden Robot was saw in you guys, not wanting to put all of that out at one time. So moving on, have you guys played in the States at all, or have you only toured around Canada?
Only in Canada so far. It's something that we really, really want to do is tour the States. That would be incredible. Yeah.
Any cities in particular that you're looking to get to first?
I really want to go to Nashville.
Yeah,
I want to go to Nashville so bad. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd love to go to like Seattle.
Oh yeah.
And
Or Chicago.
Chicago
Yeah.
would be sick. Yeah. Oh my God. I
That
mean,
would be awesome.
yeah.
Oh,
There's
pretty
too
much
many
any
places
city.
to
Yeah.
list, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, Kentucky would be amazing, of course. And like, there's just so many places. I haven't really been to the States that much in general. Like I've been to Florida
Yeah, I've only been to Florida.
and yeah, that's about it.
Classic
So
Canadians. Yeah.
just, it's a classic Canadian spot. It's nice and hot there. So
Yeah.
we don't get much of that up here.
Yeah, I lived in Florida in high school down in the Daytona Beach area, and it's actually quite different for me. It's that actually made me hate hot weather is living down in Florida. So when the temperature starts dropping, this is like when I get into the comfortableness of it.
Right?
Oh yeah. Sure.
We always want what we can't have,
Of course. And I was in a band in Detroit called Whiskey a Go-Go for a while, and I've got some bandmates still there. So you could see Canada from Detroit, the bridge right there going across. And I always wanted to go play Canada because it was like, I'd say it to them, be like, it's right there. Why can't we just go play right there?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can walk.
I could see it. Like,
Yeah, but it's not that easy, as you guys know, with the whole business thing, crossing borders and stuff like that. And especially now, Americans aren't even allowed anywhere. So who knows whenever we'll be able to do that again.
exactly.
Well, cool. So you guys talk about this as a concept record, and you said that the lyrics kind of tie in with each other. What is the theme that this record has as a concept record?
It follows like a character, like the same character throughout. It's like different experiences with like mental health struggle and stuff like that, substance struggles and stuff like that. Like our single "Dull My Brain" is the first chapter out of 5, and that's the song about our character going through the whole thing of like, the troubling thoughts of like, do I need to quit this vice that I have or something, right? And then throughout the rest of it kind of goes through different stages of like being anxious or depressed and stuff, and kind of coming out of it and finding something that helps you out of it, and then realizing maybe that it wasn't good for you or something like that. It's kind of a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
It really takes you on a ride.
And the lyrics, if you really want to like analyze the concept, if you gotta like listen to the lyrics, because some of the tracks they're not realistic. Sort of say like Watery Grave, like it's about a dude wanted, to put it bluntly, he wants to fuck a mermaid.
I think all of us did growing up watching The Little Mermaid. Come on.
Right. Exactly. In that sense, it's like that's how it's kind of a standalone song, because it's by itself it's like that, but when you pair with the other 4 songs, it's like this guy is going through a trip, like he did some drugs and he's tripping his balls off, and like right, and then he goes back into the next song where everything goes upside down, and so it's really cool. Like that.
She's the siren woman, right? That seems good at first and ends up screwing him over or whatever. Yeah, nice. All that kind of stuff. So Yeah,
Great.
it's all fictional stuff, right?
Now that I know this, I've got to go back and listen to these tracks with this in mind.
Yeah.
So
None of us have actually fucked a mermaid. It's not. It's
Damn.
not
that was my next question.
That might be in our search history.
Great. That's great. Well, cool. Do we have a idea of when the EP is going to be released?
Yeah. It looks like probably April. And we have another single coming before that. And we won't say when because that's coming soon. But it'll be before that. And so yeah, we've got some more video stuff coming, and we've got the rest of the EP.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to take up too much of your guys' time tonight. So couple more questions before we get out of here, and these are more just personal questions, not necessarily pertaining to the Jailbirds. So with you guys being from Canada, who are some of your guys' biggest Canadian influence as far as artists go? Because there's some great bands from Canada like April Wine and Rush, and just tons of awesome bands. So kind of go in, if you talk about who your biggest influence are as far as from the Canadian spectrum.
Yeah, let's kind of go around in a circle really quick. For me, the two that really come to mind is Monster Truck and Big Wreck.
Nice.
Those two bands I've seen Monster Truck like 60 times or something.
Holy shit, nice.
Number one band for me. Like
He's wearing a Monster Truck sweater.
I'm wearing their sweater right now. Anyway. But they're one of my favorite bands. They just have such an energy. And Big Wreck is they're just like Canadian royalty, and I've seen them a bunch of times as well. And Ian Thornley is a huge inspiration just because he's fucking monster, and he's like this unbelievably great guitar player, songwriter, and vocalist. It's like, fuck, man. Like, how do you do that? It's just so great. I love it. But yeah, that's what comes to mind for me. How about you?
For me, it's got to be the Hip. Mostly Gord Downey, just as a person. I love his lyrical content and just how he relates with his audience and how he connects Canada all together. Like, it's kind of hard to find somebody who's not, even if you're not a fan of the Hip's music, you're a fan of the Hip as people. They're just that's definitely a big one for me.
Nice.
Yeah, I'd have to go down the same vein as Mike. I'd say Big Wreck's pretty cool. I've never actually seen them live. I would love to see them live because they make some pretty cool music, and their music is really varied. You can pick up a Big Wreck song and listen to it, and it's completely different than the one you just listened to. And it's really cool in that sense. And then of course Monster Truck as well. Monster Truck was when Seven Seas Blues first dropped on the radio. I was when was that, like 2012? I was I was like 17, 16, and it blew my mind. I was like, this is rock and roll. This is coming back. Like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And
very inspirational.
I've listened to Monster Truck a lot, and I follow them a lot. So Sitting Heavy is still one of the most awesome EPs. Furiosity is nuts. So
Great.
Great
Very
show.
nice.
Really good.
And I guess for me, being a drummer, Rush, I've seen them once in Hamilton at the Cops Coliseum. They were like a pretty big influence growing up. And then the second band, honestly, is it's gonna be Nickelback.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with Nickelback.
Here's the thing, though. Canadians, from what I have learned from talking to, they don't get the whole because it seems to be an Americanized thing that is the hate for Nickelback. And,
But everyone hates them, but they sell out stadiums.
That's the thing, man. I really don't think those guys give a fuck what anybody thinks because they're arguably one of the most successful bands of all time, out of any of the genres. So, if I was as successful as them, I'd be like, keep talking as much shit as you guys want to.
Well, actually,
free advertising.
Funny, I think I saw Chad Kroger say something about that exactly. He was asked that, and he was like, well, at this point, it's been like 20 years of it. if it stops, I think there'd be something wrong, you know.
Yeah.
Like, and so
That's
it's
great.
like, keep it going. It's working, you know. Like
Yeah.
And you know, that's kind of universal for all those successful bands. It's like once you reach a certain status, I mean, you're always going to have people that'll have shit to say about whatever you're doing, but it really doesn't matter. Like a good video that's kind of in the same sense of that is the singer from Disturbed, David Draymond. There's a good clip of I don't know if you guys have seen this Disturbed parody video where I'll send it to you. It's a great video. But so they show it to David at one of his interviews, and they're like, "What did you think of this?" Because it's literally this whole like 3.5. It's like a greatest hit CD, but it's just the lyrics are non-audible, or it's just like singing gibberish and shit, just in the style of that. And they show it to him, and he's kind of in the same sense. He's like, it really doesn't make a difference to us, you know, because they're going to be successful regardless. And, you know, and they find humor in it as well because, you know, you're always going to have people that have shit to say about whatever the fuck you're doing. So,
exactly. Yeah, you can't please everybody. And, you know, someone
her.
put all that effort and time into making a spoof video. Like, you know,
Nickelback's case, you can't please a half the world's population.
Yeah,
That's all.
exactly.
Yeah.
it obviously seems to be working for them.
Yeah. I mean, like, you could say that about any band, like Rush, for example, as well. Like a lot of people say, "Oh, I can't listen to Rush because of his voice and stuff."
Yeah.
And you either love it or you hate it.
And you know, I
happens to
get
be
a
one of the
lot
ones
of
that hate
shit for this, but I'm in the minority that my favorite Rush album is the debut with John Rutsey on drums. I love I love the straight up rock songs like "Finding My Way," "What You're Doing." "Working Man" is one of the best fucking rock songs of all time.
Yeah.
That's not to take
a kick-ass album.
Yeah, and that's not to take away from anything that they did with Neil Peart. Those are all fucking phenomenal albums, and he's honestly probably the most underrated lyricist of all time because I don't think most people know outside of the musical world that Neil Peart wrote all of those lyrics for those songs.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, cool. I know that you said two of you have been working together since about 2011. So the other two of you, what would you consider the main differences in being in the Jailbirds versus some of the other projects that you've worked on?
For me, it's just how driven these guys are. Like, and how fun it is to rehearse. Like, there's never a dull moment when it's just hanging out, you know, it's hanging out and playing music. It doesn't feel like work, you know, and, these guys are just really driven to succeed no matter what. And that's kind of what, you know, that's what I want. That's the way I am. And, I think that's why we really work together well.
Well, cool.
Trying to think, like, because 5 years ago when we started auditioning, or like when I was found through Kijiji in a funny way, but
yeah, we found him on like a Craigslist ad.
Nice.
Yeah.
But like I remember, like, you know, we started playing and like they were like, "You're fucking loud." Like
Still are.
Like they were like,
Still telling you that.
you know, like they had their amps like all cranked, and like, you know, we had to take all the picture frames and all that off the walls. It was pretty funny, but like, I don't know, I'd say like, I don't know, we got kind of heavier, like we started writing heavier music after, like, I don't know, a little bit, like,
yeah.
It's not your grandma's rock and roll.
But yeah, you only make jam with your buddy outside of this, right? Like, you never really played in another band.
Like I've been doing, like, I did a couple of talent shows in like grade 7 and 8. I jammed with my buddy Jake Alvey for like almost 4 years. We'd rip guitar, like, and then when I got into high school, then I started to jam with my buddy Cole, and then we got into a metal band. We did that for like 2 months, and like, you know, just heavy metal wasn't like, you know, my thing, and, you know, it's just, to me it just seems like you're all over the place, but like there's definitely an art to it, like, you know, it's intense, and like, but yeah, that's where was I going with that?
That's okay. I lose my train of thought all the fucking time doing this. So. Don't feel bad about that at all. I'm actually surprised it hasn't happened more than it has today. So, well, cool. And one last question, and this is a fan comment, and I figured I'd throw this in here because Ms. Kaylin Provo was the one who recommended that I reach out to you guys and do this interview with you. So I put up if there were any question suggestions, and one that got asked was they want to know your top 5 desert island albums. If you're stuck on an island and you can take 5 albums with you, what are they?
Okay. Appetite for Destruction.
Oh yeah.
Highway to Hell. AB3 by Alter Bridge. Trying to think. What do I listen to all the fucking time? Big Rex, Albatross, and oh yeah, Furiosity by Monster Truck.
Nice.
That's my 5 right there. Boom.
Van Halen 1.
Nice.
Shit.
I knew it. I knew you should say that one. Van Halen 1. Back in Black.
Oh, nice. Going with the Brian Johnson over the Bon Scott.
You know, I'm just trying to be different. I'd say Appetite as well. You know, Slash
What happened to me indifferent?
Slash had a big influence on me. Okay, listen, I like his hair. Then I would say Stevie Ray Vaughan, Texas Flood.
Nice.
Unreal. Yeah, and last one, Jimi Hendrix, Electric Ladyland.
Very nice.
My 5.
All right.
Yeah.
The guitar heavy albums. I like that.
Yeah.
Oh God. My top 5. I would start with Sitting Heavy. Monster Truck Sitting Heavy. I like it a little bit more than Furiosity. Just it's got one of my favorite Monster Truck songs, New Soul. It's a fucking amazing song. Great song. And then I would have to go with Abraxas, Santana. If anybody doesn't know what Abraxas is, great album.
He likes to listen to it when he's cooking.
Oh yeah, that's my
Nice.
cooking music.
That's his cooking music.
Great.
And then I would throw in Texas Flood as
Very
well.
nice.
It's Stevie Ray Vaughan. You can't just not listen to Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Of course.
That was that 3.
That's 3.
Only 12 more to go. No.
Number 4, Tres Hombres by.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ooh, that's top. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's top.
That's
A tough one.
Is that gonna be a Rival Sons record?
Oh fuck yeah! Thank you,
Wow.
thank you, John.
Where
Yes,
were you?
Feral
Do
Roots.
that with mine.
Yes, Feral Roots. Rival Sons, Feral
kept
Roots.
it
The record they just released I think it was 2 years ago in 2018.
Nice.
It is hands down, bar none, bottom line, my favorite record. It's phenomenal. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's
Great stuff.
And then I don't even know what record it is, but whatever record has a lot of Bob Marley's hits on it, like a Bob Marley greatest hits. I would like that.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
some of the best recorded shit of all time.
Oh yeah.
Bob Marley.
Yeah.
So
And
good.
it'd be good music to be listening to while you're stuck on a fucking island as well. So
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. In my hammock.
That's yeah,
yeah.
the perfect setting for that.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh,
I think we got one more left.
If I was stuck on a desert island,
5 Motley Crue records.
Yeah.
pretty much.
All 5 Motley Crue albums.
The first 5, great, yeah.
I'd have to start with like the self-titled Motley Crue album from '95.
Oh, the Karabi one, very nice. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
great
friggin-
shit.
The drums are freaking amazing.
Yeah, and I have always said that is probably Tommy Lee's best fucking drumming is on that Karabi album.
Yeah. Oh, hands down. Like it, and it's so raw, but like, you know, like there was a lot of. It was just a lot different than the regular Motley Crue drumming. Like, and it was that's why it was amazing.
Karabi just man kicked that band up a notch as far as just the whole heaviness of them, and that's weird to say with a band like Motley Crue. But you know, I love that Karabi album. And my bandmate in Mindfield, Jeremy Asbrock, was actually Karabi's guitarist whenever he took that album out live like a couple years ago, and when he tours around playing the whole album.
No
cool.
way.
That's cool. Nice.
That's actually pretty sick.
Yeah.
I love that Karabi album. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off on that.
Oh, yeah, no, please. That was number one. As number two would be Dr. Feelgood by Motley Crue. Number three would have to be, I have to go with Appetite. Yeah,
You gotta have it.
Number four. Man, I had the most time to think about this.
Yeah. You could have just stole shit from their list the entire time.
Oh man. Why can't I?
To be fair, it's a very heavy question to just be put on the spot. Like, the rest of my life, I can only listen to 5 albums. 30 seconds, go. Like,
I already want to change all of my options.
Actually, oh man. Like, I'll just take those 3. How about that?
Nice.
I'll be good with those 3.
I didn't have any Zeppelin on my list.
I just realized I won't have a life with Black Sabbath, and I'm sad
man.
about that.
Now, would you go the Aussie years or the Dio years?
Oh, Dio, 100%.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All day, 7 days a week. Give me those records.
There's nothing wrong with Ozzy. The Ozzy stuff is fantastic. It's Black Sabbath.
Love the Aussie stuff.
But Dio is a rock god.
He's Dio.
He can't.
He's fucking
He's
Dio.
Dio.
And it's a very conflicting thing for me, and I honestly don't think that I could ever really choose. Like, even if somebody got a gun to my head and they're like, you got to choose, I'm probably taking the bullet because I probably couldn't. But that first album, Heaven or Hell, and then Mob Rules, and then Live Evil, holy shit, just talk about 3 fantastic records. And
So good.
Yeah. And it's kind of the same thing with when you talk about Motley Crue bringing in Karabi. It's like, you know, it's still the same band, but it's not the same band. Like, it's just a whole other fucking monster when you bring a guy like Ronnie James Dio in. So, all good choices.
They had toured for a decade at that point. They were just fucking so in it, seasoned, and they just went in there and they nailed it. It's just, you can hear it. You know what I mean? They're so together on that record, and you can tell. And they were probably so like fired up that it was like a new experience. You know what I mean? It was, there's a new singer. It's like a new style sort of for them as well. So it was probably super exciting, and you could totally hear that on the album.
Yeah, and Dio got to write the lyrics.
Yeah.
And
It freed up a lot of room for for Geezer to write some incredible bass lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, Geezer, hands down, one of my favorite bassists of all time. You know, so some very groovy stuff on both of those. Now, if you guys had to choose, are you taking Heaven and Hell or Mob Rules?
Heaven and Hell. Heaven and Hell. Yeah.
Mob Rules has some really good tracks, but Heaven and Hell's got Heaven and Hell.
Yeah.
Every song on Heaven and Hell is perfect.
And I think my favorite song with Dio was on Heaven or Hell with Children of the Sea. Just that fucking riff when it comes in is just
absolutely.
Talk about wanting to just smash everything in the fucking room when you hear that riff come in on Children of the Sea. That fucking does it for me.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Well,
Absolutely.
Cool. I appreciate you guys taking some time out to hang out with me, and it was very nice meeting you guys. Let everybody know where they can go check your stuff out real quick before we get off of here.
Yeah, just go over to www.thejailbirds.com, and all of our social links are on there and our web store. So yeah, check that out.
Well, cool. Thank you all so much, everybody, for listening in, and these guys coming on. Like I said, almost 150,000 combined streams on Spotify with the first 2 singles that you've released through Golden Robot. So congratulations on that. Looking forward to hearing some more shit. And we'll say bye off air here in a second. But thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we are going to go ahead and end the live stream.